What do you see when you look over your left shoulder and see that guy in the wall in the picture?
Oh, my son Tyler looks a lot like that guy. I'm thinking about the whole idea of having pictures of yourself up on your walls at home. I think that's my blessed wife who's honoring me, I suppose. I wish I could be him again. You know, anyone would love to be 24 years old again, I suppose. Um, I've actually said this to myself a couple of times, though. Um, that guy wasn't very happy. He was pretty confused in the world that he was in. That guy, I see, he had a big dream and he had a lot of ambition. And I would say he probably had the talent to back it up. In some ways, that was a dynamo.
Each of the songs on that album, they have an addendum, John's version. What do those two words mean to you?
Well, of course, there had been an example of someone re-recording their songs for a little bit more strident reasons, perhaps, but in the same sort of underdog kind of setting, I suppose. And so I lobbied quite heavily again for my label to name these tracks Taylor's version. Of course, they decided that nah. And so John's version is what they became. I'm kidding a little bit, but my idea was, well, they'll probably sell really well if I say Taylor's version. Uh, Anyhow, what it just meant to me was kind of as a reflection of what Taylor had done. Obviously, she had recorded these songs before, but now she was going to get to own the master tracks of these new recordings she was doing, and that's why they had to be differentiated. And that's sort of the same logic here for my songs. Um, Obviously, over the years, of course, I recorded originally as Creedence, but here and there certainly in many concerts, I have John Fogerty, not to use the third person, but Fortunate Son, let's say, has appeared with the name John Fogerty as the artist, as opposed to Creedence Clearwater Revival as the artist. So already that had been used, you might say. They needed a way to even differentiate from that, which is how we arrive at John's version.
Hmm.
I'm telling you though that, well, maybe this time next year I'll feel differently about it. But right now, I think Taylor's version would have been a good call.
She's done a wonderful job of energizing her fan base to listen to those versions over the originals. Are you going to go as far as that, or what's your thoughts around that?
I'm hoping that my fans will listen to the new recordings and understand that it's kind of a more of a spiritual declaration and it's not us against them or something like that. Um, it's more, well, John's finally got a clear path to his songs, to his legacy, really. Um, and he's standing there proudly singing these songs. It is another version, you might say. He said, and I think I would probably let it rest there. People have had 55 years or more to love the original recordings, and I love them too. Other than a couple of times where I sang a flat note, let's say, particularly in Fortunate Son, um, I don't sit around thinking I could have improved something this way or that. I don't think of it that way. I think of, let's say, Down on the Corner as a great song, and the recording came out well, and it makes me happy to hear it, as I'm sure many other people too. Um, and I just look at it as that. I'm not trying to really replace that. I've never doubted that they were my songs. I've always appreciated that especially the good ones, I thought were pretty good, and loved the fact that when I do shows, audiences sing them, but I imagine for some reason or other, there's has been some baggage because of all the controversy over the years. And this process seemed to put a laser light right to straight to the creation of it and sort of push that other stuff away. So I know I just feel really happy with this record. And I'm trying to describe why. I think that's part of it.
I want to ask you directly, John, what is it about performing that lights you up in 2025?
I think I can honestly say it was never about the money. You know, the recordings and all that, all that stuff that happened with Fantasy, that's sort of a different issue. But just being in a room and playing music, for instance, not even an hour ago, I was just sitting with my daughter Kelsey, and the two of us were jamming and playing surfing hits and Walk Don't Run and things like that, Freddie King, just for the enjoyment of it. I practice every day, play the guitar every day, try to create new riffs, things I haven't done before, every day, once in a while. And I've always got my phone now, which is such a cool way of, because I don't write music. It's such a handy way to record things quickly and save them. And I get a big kick out of that. I mean, to me, it's a ritual. It's a way of staying valid and viable. And I look forward to it because it just brings me a lot of joy. And also, I'm thinking in terms of, well, I'll come up with some things I can do in the next show. And I think there's always that, it's the same, I think, the same emotion that when you were little, you wanted to accomplish something to please your parents and just see them smile and give you that acknowledgement. And for me, it's getting in front of people and making them happy, seeing that they're happy about what I'm doing, that they like it. So that's the motivation.